start with a sentence that most men feel, but few say out loud. Winning didn't fix it. Welcome to Smells Like Smoke. My name is Trevor. I'm your host for this podcast, where we talk about what it means to smell like smoke. What does that mean? That means getting close enough to the edge of hell to snatch people out. So let me go back to that phrase I started with. Winning didn't fix it. Maybe you got the job, you hit the goal, you crossed the finish line, you made the money. And for a moment, it felt really good, but then it faded. And now you're chasing the next thing. So today we're going to talk about the gospel of success and why money and achievement make terrible saviors. Not because success is evil, not because work is bad, but because success was never meant to carry the weight of your soul. So why does this matter? Well, this matters because hustle culture has actually become a religion. It tells people to work harder, to grind longer, sacrifice everything now so you can enjoy life later. And here's the problem. Later rarely comes. The goalposts move, the pressure increases, the satisfaction shrinks. And men, you end up exhausted, disconnected, and empty, wondering why winning still feels like losing. So what's the appeal of hustle culture? Well, let's be honest, hustle culture speaks directly to men. Here's what it promises. It promises control, respect, identity, security, and longevity. It tells you your worth is tied to your output, and your value is tied to your income, and your identity is tied to your achievement. And that message feels motivating at first, but it always turns work into worship. And worship always shapes you. So what happens when work becomes your identity? Well, there's a difference between working hard and living for work. Working hard is healthy. Living for work is dangerous. Let me say it again. Working hard is healthy. Living for work is dangerous. When work becomes identity, rest feels like weakness, and slowing down feels like failure. I had a conversation with some folks this last week, and they were talking about how margin in their life, doing nothing outside of work, feels like they're losing. And the problem is saying no feels irresponsible when you're in a hustle culture. So men, can I spur you? Stop asking, who am I becoming? And start asking, how much am I producing? See, that's how souls get neglected. So why does winning still feel empty? Well, let me say something clearly. Winning is not the problem. Winning is just a moment. Winning is not the problem. Winning is just a moment. And the problem is expecting that moment to satisfy something eternal. Success, it'll give you a rush, but it does not give you peace. Success gives you applause, but it does not give you purpose. See, success gives you status, but it will not give you wholeness. And that's why the feeling never lasts. You and I, we were created for more than moments. We were created for eternity. Right here in our own city, I've sat across from men in our city of Tucson who are outwardly successful. They got nice homes, they've got strong resumes, they've got packed calendars, and somewhere in the conversation, they will say something like this, is I don't know why I still feel off. They're not lazy. They're not ungrateful. They're empty. And here's why, because they believed that success would do something it was never designed to do. See, money is a false savior. Let's just talk about money for a minute. Money is a tool, but it's not a God. In fact, it makes a horrible God. Money can solve problems, but it cannot solve purpose. Money can reduce stress, but here's what it can't do. It can't eliminate fear. Money can buy comfort, but it can't buy your peace. And the lie is not that money is bad. The lie is that money will save you. That's the lie. And when men believe that lie, they will trade their souls for a paycheck without even realizing it. So, what did Jesus say about success? Well, actually, Jesus spoke directly to this, if you don't realize that. He asked a simple question, but it was a devastating question. He says, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Like that question, it still stands today. And Jesus did not say success is sinful. He said success is insufficient. It's not sinful to be successful, but it is insufficient for your soul. He warned that chasing wealth and achievement without anchoring your soul actually leads to loss, not financial loss, spiritual loss, eternal loss. So how does success become a counterfeit? Well, here's what makes success such a convincing counterfeit. It delivers just enough to keep you hooked. It's like a really bad drug. You get the raise, you feel validated. You hit the milestone, you feel accomplished. But it always asks for more. It always does, doesn't it? More hours, more energy, more sacrifice, more time away from your family. And eventually something else pays the price. Your marriage, your kids, your health, your soul. See, that's the exchange for success being our God. And here's the problem. A lot of men I know, they have this fear of falling behind. A lot of men stay trapped here because of fear. The fear of falling behind their peers, the fear of being irrelevant, the fear of not providing. And here's what I know. Those fears are real, but they become dangerous when they drive your decisions. Fear makes men chase security instead of purpose. And security without purpose feels empty. So what if we were to redefine success? Like not culturally, but biblically and personally. Like success is not how much you accumulate. Success is who you become. It's not how fast you climb the ladder. It's how faithful you live your life. Success is not how many people admire you. It's how many people you love well. That definition changes everything in our lives. So let me ask you some practical questions that will expose true success. Just a couple. And I think they're questions worth asking. Here's one. Is my work producing life or just income? Is my work producing life or just income? Do you feel like God is doing something through the work that you do, or are you just providing an income for yourself? How about this one? Am I becoming more whole or more hurried? Does what you do make you feel more whole in your relationship with God? Or do you just feel like you're always hurried? How about this one? Do the people closest to me feel valued or managed? And I think you can dig this one deeper, not just the people at work with you. How about the people in your home? Like, does your wife or your husband or your kids, do they feel valued, or do they feel like you're managing them as well? How about this one? Am I present or just productive? Are you present or are you just productive? It's one thing to produce, but are you present with the people that God has put around you? See, those answers tell the truth. And if we're going to be rescuers, if we're going to snatch people from the flames of judgment, if we're going to smell like smoke, then here's why success and rescue have to talk to each other. See, this matters for the rescue work we talk about on this podcast. Men consumed by success rarely have margin for people, because rescue requires presence. We've talked about that on past episodes. Success demands performance. Rescue requires presence. You can't rescue souls when you're always chasing the next win. And at some point, you have to decide what winning actually means. I'm not talking like Charlie Sheen back in the early 2000s winning. I'm talking about winning the rescue mission that we've been put on. So let me give a word to the men that are super driven. Like, your drive is not the problem. It's actually a gift. It's not a problem to be driven. But gifts make terrible gods. So when drive is surrendered, it builds the kingdom. When drive is worshiped, it destroys lives. Jesus does not want to kill your ambition. He actually gave you that ambition. But here's what he wants to do. He wants to redeem your ambition. So here's the difference that Jesus makes. Here's what Jesus offers that success never can. Rest, identity, purpose. Not after you win, right now. Jesus actually anchors your worth outside of performance, and that frees you to work hard without being owned by work. See, that's real freedom. That's what he calls us to. So here's your challenge this week. Redefine success. I'm going to actually ask you to write down what winning actually means to you. Like, I would encourage you, pause this right now and go write down what winning actually means to you. Not what culture says, not what social media says, but what kind of man do you want to be? In fact, I'll encourage you, pause right now, go write that down. What kind of man do you want to be? I'll wait. I'll sit right here. You can hit play again as soon as you're done. Okay, did you do it? I hope so. Because what kind of man you want to be will determine what kind of life you start to live. Like, what kind of life do you want to build? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? And then ask this question. Ask whether your current pace aligns with that vision. Because money and achievement do not save souls. And winning is not the same as living. Winning is not the same as living. So this is Smells Like Smoke, our podcast where we learn how to better live our lives so that we can rescue others. We're learning how to spot the counterfeits that look good but leave us empty. In next episode, we're going to talk about why politics can't save you and why no amount of power can heal the human heart. So do me a favor, if you like this podcast, we don't ask you to pay anything. We don't ask you to do anything monetarily, but here's what I would ask. Would you invest a moment to share this podcast with somebody else? Put it out there, or maybe share it on Instagram or on Facebook. In fact, if you tag us, Smells Like Smoke Pod, on Instagram, we would love to repost this and engage with you. But if you like this, let somebody else know. And this week, let's work hard. Let's live free. And let's chase what actually lasts. So do me a favor, everyone. Stay close to the fire, and we'll be back next week with another episode.